On today's episode, we talk, is buying a new car a luxury? I had a friend that was asking me about getting into a car. The car that he was trying to get, or he actually...
You're recording?
Yeah, I'm recording.
Okay.
He actually got into a car.
Brand new car.
Brand new car, and he had no credit.
What kind of car?
It was a Toyota Corolla, but
Okay.
brand new.
Okay.
So, as you can imagine, it wasn't a really great deal for him. So, I mean, that's what we really want to talk about it today. Just about if you're a new buyer, if you don't have any credit, if those are your conditions, it doesn't really make sense to get into a new car, because
Not at all.
it's not smart to get into a new car to begin with. And if you are actually a new credit and you don't have any credit history, it's even worse.
The thing is, from what I've seen, it looks like it's easier to get it's easier for a person with no credit. It's easier to get into a brand new car than a used car. I think the banks are giving more approvals for people with no credit on a new car than a used car.
Okay.
Lower down payment. It's just easier to get that loan started. Lower down payment, and obviously, the bank will give them like a super long term. So the bank just make the loan attractive to these people. We'll finance it for 75 months. The payment is $300. You only need $1,000. And, it sounds all good. Oh, I'm buying a car, brand new car, $1,000 a month, down payment, $350 a month. And, but I'm buying a new car. But in reality, man, you're just getting into something that most likely you will never pay off. And then
Or trade-in.
And then you're gonna have a really hard time trying to trade it in.
Well, that's exactly what happened. My friend was 2.5 years into the loan of a new car. So he was telling me, I'm trying to get my payments lower. I think his payments were like $450 or something like that.
Wow.
I'm trying to get my payments lower. But I don't know what to do. He was pretty much asking me for advice. What could he do? So I asked him, okay, send me the VIN of the car. How many miles does it have? What model is it? So I calculate the actual value of the vehicle, and he was still upside down after 2.5 years.
Wow.
He was still upside down. So I mean, the options were limited. He couldn't trade that in.
He had to keep it.
Because, I mean, maybe he could have traded it in, but it's not smart. Because what would have happened there is that he would trade in the vehicle, and then the difference between the loan and the value of the car, he's just going to carry it over.
If they allow it,
right.
If the bank will allow that, which
Right.
most likely won't, because he's just still on new credit.
Yeah.
He hasn't paid off another loan yet. He's been in the credit bureau 2 years only.
Yeah, 2.5.
So it doesn't, he's just putting himself in the same situation again, especially if you're just going to buy another car, another brand new car.
Yeah.
You're just going to repeat the cycle again.
Yeah.
So
it's just tough. Getting into a new car, it's tough no matter what.
it's exciting. Don't get me wrong. Look, that brand new car smell and all that. Oh, I bought a brand new car. But again, is it really worth it? It's a really bad financial decision.
Yeah.
Super bad
Yeah.
financial decision.
If you're trying to build your credit,
Especially if you're buying something that you don't really like. You're just buying something that's what you can buy at that moment. Like, for example, Toyota Corolla. I'm sure that he would love to buy something else, but he's not able to. So what happens is that after a year, after 2 years, you don't want the car anymore because you don't like it.
Right.
And you're just stuck with it because you're not able to trade it in or sell it or pay off the loan and all that. Right. It's just a bad scenario. It's it's a worse. Yeah. It's a really bad financial decision. Yeah. Honestly.
I mean what I recommended him at that point was, man, honestly, your options is keep it until you even out, you have some equity on the car, and that's when you can trade it in. And please don't trade it in for another new car, because the same thing is gonna happen. So I told him, dude, go to a dealership. If you want to go to a Toyota dealership, whatever you want, go to a dealership. But instead of getting a new car, get a certified pre-owned. Get a used car that it's the same thing. It's going to be a new car, only that someone else drove it before you.
It's a lot lower in value.
You can get it with 10,000 miles, whatever, and it's not going to lose that much whenever you drive it down. So it's not going to take you 2.5 years to trade it in, to get into another car.
I think we talked about this a couple of weeks ago. I think, like, is it better to buy or lease a new car?
I gave him that option too.
Right. That would be my recommendation. If you're able to get approved for a lease, just go ahead and do it, because if you really have to have a brand new car, if you say, oh, there's no way I'll buy a used car. If you really want a new car, try to go for a lease, because what happens here is, at least it's a contract that you have for 2-3 years. At the end of the contract, the car is not yours. You don't have any financial responsibility for the car. So you can either just get another lease or just return it.
Right.
The problem here, you're not stuck with it. You don't have a loan. The problem here is that he's had the car for 2 years and he's still, he has a financial debt that he has to pay off. It's not like, oh, I don't want it anymore, because that's going to be a repossession.
Right.
That's the main difference. If you really, like I said,
you need
want a new car, man, try to go for a lease, because at the end of the 2-3 year, then you don't want the car anymore. You're not going to be stuck, in that situation that we're describing now, that you're not able to trade it in. And then, you're pretty much stuck with the car.
Right.
So try to go for the lease. This is what we recommend.
Yeah. Unless,
on this scenario.
Again, unless you can get the car at a very, very good price.
Low price.
Which is hard. So, because, the difference, what makes or breaks a deal, in this case, financing a new vehicle, is the depreciation. Yeah. So the closest you can get the price of the vehicle to what the depreciation it's gonna eat up, which is 10% as soon as you drive it off the lot. If you can somehow, you are a magician in negotiating or something like that, and you can lower that 10% of the value of the vehicle, making the deal, then of course.
More. Yeah, maybe more.
But it's hard. It's hard.
Yeah, it's hard. And even though, the payments might be, $300 for a new car and all that, and they might offer you like a low interest rate, but they'll probably finance it for like 7 years, which you're paying a lot of interest rate.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Don't get it mixed up. Like, if you do the numbers, you're gonna pay a lot of interest. I was doing the math. A family of mine, they decided to buy a brand new car. We talked about them previously, and the payments, they gave them a 9% interest rate. But when you do the math over the 72 months, they were paying the car twice.
Right.
So I mean, they were buying the car for like 17 or 6 or something, and at the end they will be paying about 36.
Right.
Something. I mean, so.
Got to take into account the time of the loan, the interest of the loan, the price of the car. What I've noticed is that most of the people only take into account 2 things.
Down payment and monthly payment.
Or they can do things out of everything. They only take into account two things. It could be, I don't know, price and the interest, or time and the price. But you have to take all of them into account, not only two. You have to do the calculations with everything included. Because, I mean, yeah, I get a 9% interest rate. It's not that bad. But you're financing it for 5 years. That's gonna kill you.
Yeah, it's not. You're not gonna be reducing the principal on the car much over time. But obviously, you know, our best recommendation, our honest and best suggestion is man, you know, just drop the proudness, I guess. Like, you don't need a new car. Find a pre-owned. You know, it's gonna be in really good condition, still under factory warranty and all that. Maybe it's gonna take you a little bit more to get into the loan, because, like I said, it looks like banks they issue loans easier on a new car than a pre-owned car.
Right.
But you know, it might take you a little bit more down and all that stuff. And the payment might even be the same. You know what I mean? But what we're talking is the value, how much you're gonna owe on the car,
right? How
much you're gonna be losing on depreciation, and most likely a year, 2 years after you buy that pre-owned car, you're gonna be able to trade it in, because maybe the value of the car is more than what you owe. Right. You know what I mean? So that's our honest recommendation. Try to buy a pre-owned car. Does not have to be, you know. It's just a smarter decision financially.
I think it's important.
In our opinion,
I think this is the point. Buying a new car is a luxury.
Yeah.
Buying a new car is a luxury. So keep that in mind.
It's gonna cost you a lot of money.
You're paying a premium. It's a luxury. It's like buying a luxury item. A new car, even if it's a cheap new car, it's a luxury, because it's just gonna lose a lot of value.
It's even worse on the cheap new cars,
right?
Because you've seen it, like the Mitsubishi Mirage.
Yeah,
they piece of crap.
Yeah, they just drop. The value
I remember like a year ago, or 2 years ago, someone came in driving one. They say they bought it brand new. The value of the piece of crap was like $4,000, and their payoff was like $10,000. Yeah. I'm like, holy crap! Like, why, dude? Like, this car is not worth anything. Yeah. Like, it's a piece of crap. It loses so much value. Yeah. You bought it for how much?
All of the smaller cars.
The smaller Nissan Versas. The Sentras. The Toyota Corolla is a little bit different, but all those small cars, like the compacts,
they're the worst value.
And that's what everybody's buying, because that's what they can get in, you know. So
just for having the new car.
Yeah, they're buying. Look, they're buying again. This is the same example from my cousin. He bought the Nissan Versa for like $17,000, and we had one that was 3 years old with 50,000 miles, and we were selling it for $6,000.
Exactly.
That's the perfect.
That's your math.
That's your math right there. How much my car is gonna be worth in 3 years?
Exactly.
And that was retail value, so the trade-in was lower. And then so you know, how much is my car gonna be worth in 3 years, and how much I'm gonna owe? I mean, you're losing all day long, man.
Yeah.
But
yeah, new car is a luxury.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
So, look, if you're in the market for a car, you don't have to buy it from us, okay? But we want you to make a good decision, a right decision, because then we get this kind of question, man, very often. Like, look, I'm stuck with this car. What should I do? And all that. And it looks like it's the same over and over and over.
Yeah.
They don't understand. Auto loans is a little bit complicated. There are a lot of numbers that you have to look at, a lot of things to take into consideration. It's not just monthly payment and the down payment. It doesn't work like that, you know. Yeah. So reach out to us, you know.
Yeah. But it has to be before because it
before
sucks when
you buy. Yeah.
Like, okay, he texted me, but 2.5 years after, I couldn't. I mean, my advice didn't really help him.
Yeah.
Well,
maybe it did, not to make a worse decision. Well, I don't know.
Right? Yeah. Maybe but still, I mean, he has to keep it and at least get even on the values.
So feel free to ask questions. Give us a call. Reach out through Instagram, Facebook. We're always willing to help people, and give the honest recommendation. Like I said, I know it's exciting getting a brand new car and all that stuff, but I'm sure it's not exciting when you find out what your payoff is, and you find out that you cannot get out of the car for 4 more years or something like that.
Right.
So that's what we have for today, guys. We hope this is a valuable content for you. If it's not for you, make sure you share this to other people that you think it's going to be valuable for. Maybe you're not in this situation now, but maybe a friend of yours is in this situation, or they're looking to get a new car. Nothing against new cars, but it's just not the best financial decision.
Yeah.
That's just honesty. You know what I mean? So we'll see you guys next week.